Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining. First off, I want to give a great big thank you to all who registered and decided to take some time out of your afternoon to join me to learn more about river cruising and specifically river cruising with AmaWaterways. You are in for a virtual treat. If you don't know me personally or you have not worked with me before, I want to formally introduce myself. I am Carla Chianelli, and I'm a virtuoso travel advisor with Discover Wanderlust Travel, and I am based out of the Tampa Bay area. The larger part of my travel business is made up of customized European vacations for couples and groups who enjoy having a professional who can help save them time and plan an unforgettable trip with their needs and desires in mind. I enjoy curating personalized trips from start to finish, so that would include anything from air and transfers to hotels, private tours, dining options, excursions, you name it. I've also helped plan ocean and river cruises, luxury rail, villa stays, and more. And if there are any hiccups along the way, I'm always just a text, a call, or an email away. So today I've asked my travel-loving partner at AmaWaterways to join us to talk about a unique way of traveling through Europe, river cruising. She's my business development manager at AmaWaterways, and she's going to spend some time talking about who AmaWaterways is, where they sail, and what makes them a standout from other river cruise lines that you've probably already heard about. So for the agenda today, she'll take us through an itinerary and the experience that you'll have on the Rhine, and also go through some of the current promotions that they're putting on. Please feel free to unmute yourself and ask any questions you may have as we near the end of the presentation. You can also use the chat feature if you have any questions that come along the way. Before we close out the webinar, I will randomly pick one attendee to award a $100 Amazon gift card as a thank you for joining us. So without further ado, I want to introduce Deborah Robinson of AmaWaterways. Deborah, take it away.
Hi, Carla. Thanks for having me. This is such a pleasure. My favorite topic is river cruising, and especially with AmaWaterways. So I'm in the right job. I think I hit the job lottery when I was hired as business development manager for AmaWaterways. But I was a travel agent like you before I became a BDM, and so I really understand from the travel agent standpoint what it means to travel, what the client needs to know and to expect. So let's go ahead and let me share my screen and we'll get started. All right, let's see. Can you see my whole screen?
Yes, I can see it.
Okay, perfect. All right. Well, as the first slide says, thank you so much for joining us today with Discover Wanderlust Travel. And Carla, she's very appreciative that you're here, as well as I, and your interest in river cruising. My name is Deborah Robinson. I'm the business development manager, again, for Central and North Florida. And I am pretty much everything from Venice, Florida, all the way up to the Panhandle. So I love what I do, and I love river cruising. So you can see a couple of these pictures. This is me on actually the Rhine River. It's on some of the excursions that we get to partake in. I absolutely adore the Rhine River. It is absolutely amazing. I like to say that oceans take you to the countries, but it's truly rivers that take you through them. So think about that for a second. You know, here in Florida, we're always on ocean. It seems like at least once a year, whether we're going down to the Caribbean or jetting over, to Mexico or, even up to Canada on a cruise ship. But think about often when you come into port on a cruise ship, most often what you see is something that's very industrial. River cruising is very, very different. So when you come into port on a river ship, the gangplank goes out and it's just a matter of a couple of minutes and you're off and exploring into that cobblestone town of Europe. Just what you envision, you get to experience it in a matter of minutes for the entire day. So it's a really different experience than standing in line to get off the ship, to wait to get on the bus, to go to an excursion away from the ship. That's really the experience of the ocean. versus river. So this photo too is, I believe, quintessential river cruising. This is the Rhine River. So you can see the river ship down below as it's deep down in the bottom of the photo. But the Rhine River has beautiful castles, and I love traveling in the fall. You can see all the leaves are turning. It's just a magical time of the year. So the owners of our company is Rudy Schreiner, Christine Karst, and Gary Murphy. And Rudy and Christine are actually married. They dreamed of opening their own river cruise company, one that they would be proud to share with their family and friends. And they met and discussed this time and time again. They met, they fell in love, and they named the company AmaWaterways because Ama in Latin means love. Now, I know that's a little corny, but I'm a romantic, so I like to point that out. It's a true story. This company hires with love, it operates with love, and we treat our people and our clients and our customers with love. So that's a really big difference between our company that's family owned and operated and larger conglomerates out there that you're basically a number. You don't have a face to the name. It's very different at AmaWaterways. And then Rudy and Christine both grew up on the Danube, so they're originally from Eastern Europe, but now they both live in Calabasas, California. That's where our headquarters is, and they've been there for over 30 years. And they started the company in 2002. So we've been in business now for over 22 years. And all of our ships are in the areas that they sail, and we outright own all of our ships. We don't lease any of our ships. So a lot of times people ask me, oh, what was the refurbished date for this ship? And I tell them we don't have a refurbished date. We own all of our ships. When something breaks or needs redecorating, we redecorate, we fix it. So our ships look as top notch as they can at all times. That's very different as well. And then Gary Murphy is the son of Jimmy Murphy, who, if you've ever been to Brendan or been on Brendan tours in Ireland or Scotland, that's his company, his family's company. But I joke and say, like any good son, he didn't want to go into the family business, so he joined AmaWaterways. But together, I like to call them the trifecta dream team. They're very hands-on in our day-to-day operation and all the decisions that are made. They're on weekly sales meetings and really do have their finger on the pulse of this company. And I think that's a very special thing. So here's all the rivers that we sail. We are in Colombia, which is a brand new destination in 2025 in March. We will be sailing. We are the very first river company to go into Colombia. And living here in Florida, I'm super excited because it's just a couple hour plane ride and you're off to this floating boutique hotel with a five-star restaurant attached. Just doesn't get any better than that. And then in Asia, we are on the Mekong in Cambodia and Vietnam. It's one of our exotics, as well as Africa. I mean, who do you know that river cruises in Africa? We are the only ones. There's lots of people that do Africa, that have land tours in Africa, but we offer a traditional land safari experience, the Jeep tours and everything, Victoria Falls, all of that, as well as a river portion. So you get to experience the animals as they come to the water's edge and small boat tours. So it's an exceptional experience that no other river cruise company offers. And then, of course, there's Egypt. Egypt, because of the war that's going on in Israel, we're no longer going into Israel, but we are going into Jordan. And if you've thought about going to Egypt, I would go tomorrow if they asked me. I wouldn't shy away from it at all. Jordan is absolutely magical, and we have had not one incident. We have security on board our ships, and we have security that goes out with every excursion as well. So there's no need for you to fear. We would never take guests anywhere where their lives are in danger or there was an issue. We would pull out immediately. So keep that in mind if you were thinking about Egypt. I highly recommend it. And then, of course, we're in Portugal on the Douro. We're in France on the Rhine, the Rhone, the Seine, the Saône. We're in the entire length of the Danube, so the upper and the lower Danube. So many, many rivers for you to sail. I mentioned that we've been in business for 22 years, and I feel that we really are leading the way in river cruising. It's never been so true in our ships because we have a ship called the Ama Magna pictured here. Now, you might not can tell it by this photo because she's the only ship in the photo, but if there was a regular longship beside her, you would see that she's twice the size of a regular longship. So she's twice the width, but she still only has 196 people aboard. So a regular longship for our competitors has about 190 on board. So you can see she's twice the size, but we didn't put twice as many people. So everything is bigger on the Ama Magna. So there's 4 specialty restaurants. There's a pickleball court. There's a theater. And the rooms are much larger. A little bit of Alma's claim to fame is that we have fewer people on board all of our ships, whether it's the Alma Magna or our regular long ships, than our competition. So fewer people and larger rooms. That's really important for your experience. But why AmaWaterways? So I know you have choices. There's many other river cruise companies out there. So I want to kind of point out some of the things that we do different or that we've brought to the market that weren't out there before we started our company and river cruising. We're the first to implement twin balcony rooms. Rudy loves innovation, and he's over all of our operations. And he's the ship builder, basically. He designs all of our ships. So our ships are designed with a shallow hull and a wheelhouse that retracts. So more often than not, if the river conditions are high or low, we can still sail where others cannot. And that's really, really important. Back to the twin balcony room. The twin balcony is a concept where you have a French balcony and a regular balcony in one room. And this gives a beautiful, excuse me, beautiful panoramic view. And I'll show you a little bit better picture in a moment. We were also the first to implement bikes on board river ships, and we have a smorgasbord of wellness, including a wellness host on board, where we teach all sorts of classes. We're known for our sustainability. It is never so true than on the Danube. We can tell you where the apples in your apple strudel, what farm they come from on the Danube. We are that farm to table experience. So it's never so true than on the Danube. But our sustainability goes far beyond that. Amazing experiences, especially with food, where we grow herbs on top of the Ama Magna. There's glass water bottles in your stateroom that are refilled daily instead of plastics, and more sustainable and more eco-friendly emphasis on all of our sailings. And then, of course, I mentioned the pickleball. Now, if you live in Florida, you're familiar with pickleball. It's so popular, and you can imagine on board the Ama Magna, it's very, very popular. This is a full legal court, and it's all included. There's no upcharge to play. You just have to make a reservation once on board. So here's a look at what our rooms look like. The top 2 photos are from the Ama Magna. Now, I mentioned that everything on the Ama Magna is bigger than any other ship. This room I stayed in last April. I did the Gems of Southeast Europe. By the way, if you ever do that itinerary, you have to do the pre. It goes to Pels Castle in Transylvania. It's fabulous. But this room is an AA balcony room or an AB. I can't remember which. But it's our basic balcony room. But there's nothing basic about this room. This room is 355 square feet. Now, if you've been on any ship, whether it's ocean or river, you know that 355 is usually a suite. So this is a very ample room. What you can't see in this photo is this is a full-size couch that makes out, you can accommodate a third person if you so chose to. But if you turned around in this photo, you would see double glass doors that open into your bathroom suite where you have dual vanities, a standalone shower, marble finishes with a separate toilet area. So it is a magnificent room that has ample space for all of your things to be put away. And then, of course, the photo to the right is the outdoor balcony space. This is just a traditional balcony. There's not a French balcony in this room. But you can see floor to ceiling windows, so you still get that magical view. And then the two photos down below, this is the picture I was talking about. It's a little bit better photo of our twin balcony. So you see that beautiful view. The balcony on the right is a French balcony. So if you walked up to those doors, you could open them, but the railing is right there. So you can't actually step out. But then over to the left, you have a slider. You can open, step out, sit down in a chair, have a glass of wine, enjoy the river as it's going by. So a lot of times people say, well, I don't understand. Why two balconies? Like, what's the purpose? Well, we could have made that balcony go all the way across the room, but the normal long ship, the square footage is a premium, right? So an AA or an AB room is around, I think, 250 square feet, 270 square feet. So every inch counts. And so when it's at night and these curtains are closed, this space over here where the chair is becomes interior space in the room. So you have extra square footage. So that was part of the purpose for not making that outdoor balcony go all the way across, because at night you're not going to be using that balcony anyway. So it's nice to have that extra square footage in the room. And then the picture on the right is the same room. It's just showing you the ability to retract the wall. So if you wanted to have joining rooms or a family suite, that is the possibility of having that on board. I mentioned that the Alma Magna has 4 specialty restaurants. Again, this is all included. There is no upcharge. That's very different than some of our competitors. So you have in the top left the alfresco dining. You have down below Jimmy's Restaurant and Bar, our main dining room to the right, and then our chef's table. All of these are, again, are included. There is no charge. You just have to make a reservation once on board. Oh, I can't say enough good things about the food. I'm a little bit of a foodie myself, and this food is award-winning, chef-prepared, artfully plated culinary delights. You truly taste it with your eyes before you taste it with your palate. This slide originally didn't have any pictures of food on it. So I had to go through my phone and pull out some pictures of my food that I've taken along the years, and I put a couple of pictures so you can see just how amazing this is and how artfully beautiful it's plated. You know, every little thing like that makes a difference in your experience. I know every time I come home, I'm spoiled with the food, and I have that realization that, oh, I have to go to the grocery store. I have to cook my own food now. And it's never anything as fabulous as this. So the exception of the food, it is quite the exception. Part of the reason also, even when it's not on the Danube, other itineraries, even if it's not farm to table, which we are going to that model on many other itineraries, but to keep our food as fresh as possible, we do not freeze any of our ingredients. So if you have lamb chops or fish for your entree, it's been brought aboard fresh daily. So that makes for a very fresh and foodie experience. We also bake all of our breads fresh every day. So even though this is luxury, in this photo, these people look like they're a little dressed up, but I put this photo in because it reminds me to tell you that we are luxury, but we're relaxed luxury. There's no need for tuxedos. There's no need for evening gowns. You can wear a simple pantsuit or a sundress even. Gentlemen do not have to wear a jacket, just a collared shirt, so a golf shirt with a collar or even a button-up shirt with a collar and a pair of khakis or, just a pair of pants. The only thing I would advise not to do is jeans, flip-flops, or shorts in the dining room only. It's allowed everywhere else. So it is relaxed luxury. We want the experience to be exceptional, but we don't want it to be stuffy. So you don't have to worry about what you bring to wear so much. It's about comfort and about enjoying the experience and having an exceptional experience. So here's a look at our chef's table. I mentioned that this is an elevated dining experience. Again, it's all included. There's no upcharge for this. You just have to make a reservation once on board. And you can see the chefs over to the right. They are preparing the food. So you actually get to share in the experience. You see how they do it. And then this is brought to your table. It's about 6 or 7 courses of small plated meals that are paired with wine. It's explained to you. It's absolutely amazing. So definitely sign up for this experience when you go. We all love our cocktails. So 1 hour before dinner, you can have your dirty martini, scotch on the rocks, Shirley Temple, whatever your poison choice is. You can have that. And it's all order from a menu. And if they don't have it on the menu, you can ask and they'll make it for you. So 1 hour before dinner, all drinks, as many as you can drink, are all complimentary. Wi-Fi is important. We all need to stay connected these days. I know whenever I'm on the ship, I'm working most of the time. But, I have grandchildren that I like to stay in touch with, and you want to send emails. You may have maybe a relative at home that you need to stay in touch with. You absolutely can do that free of charge. And our on-demand entertainment. So if you want to watch a movie in bed at night, that's all included as well. Now, this is one of the areas that I feel we really stand apart. All of our shore excursions are included. I used to tell everybody when I sold river, at the end of the day, any river experience is a good day. It's a wonderful way to travel. But what you need to do when you're deciding what river company you want to book with is look at what's included, because that makes the difference whether you're nickel and dimed at the end of the cruise, if you're having to pay extra every day for something versus a cruise where it's already included. Those are really things that make a difference in your experience as well as the bottom line. So that's really important. And our shore excursions are all included. So there are hiking tours, there are city tours, there's wine tasting tours, culinary tours. I've gone truffle hunting, I've made cheese in someone's home. Anything you can imagine, we have it, and it's all included. But it doesn't stop there. Not only are there choices, and there's probably, 4 or 5 different choices of tours on every single port. Now, our competitors, some give you one a day. Actually, it's not even one a day, it's one per port. So if you're doing the Upper Danube and you start in Budapest, that cruise overnights in Budapest, and you would get one tour for 2 days on our competitors. Or you could pay $299 per person and add additional tours. So again, that's where I'm talking about it adds to the bottom line at the end of the cruise. Whereas on you can pick a tour in the morning, come back for lunch, go out again in the afternoon, and it's all included. Or we even have all-day tours. You can even do your own thing. You can go out on your own. You don't have to do a tour, but they're all included for you if you choose to. And another thing that's different about our tours is they all operate as a small group tour. We don't ever have our tours fill up. If we get more than enough, too many people, so to speak, on one tour, we just bring in another tour guide. So we want your experience to be exceptional, and we want it to be the tour you want to choose. We don't want it to fill up. So that's why we do what we do. And as far as choosing your excursions, I'm going to show you our app later on in the presentation, and you can choose your excursions on the app inside of 20 days to departure, but you don't have to because they don't fill up. You can wait till you get on the ship and actually listen to the cruise directors talk on all of the excursions and then make your choices. So it's totally up to you. You don't have to be in a rush to do it. If you don't like to get up early and be gone all day, we have late riser tours. So you can get up, have a leisurely breakfast, and off you go on a late riser tour. Breakfast is not a problem. I go on every tour, morning and afternoon, every time I'm on the ship, and I always get up and have a nice breakfast. Eggs Benedict is my favorite, so definitely order that. We also have wellness on board, and it's a dedicated, certified, dedicated wellness host, and they teach yoga, core strengthening. There's dance classes, all sorts of things for you to choose from on board. So if you're one of those people that really like to stay active and you want to work out, you can absolutely do that on board. You can do all of the excursions. And by the way, I don't think I've ever had a day of excursions be under 10,000 steps because I track it on my watch. Of course, you don't have to do that many, but if you want to stay active, that is not a problem on AmaWaterways. So in the evenings, we have entertainment that comes aboard. I mentioned that I did the Gems of Southeast Europe. On that tour one night, I had been out exploring all day. We'd gone to Pinna Castle, Pinna Palace, and we went to Dracula's castle, and it was just a long day. When we came back, we rushed to get ready to go to dinner, and I'd had 2 glasses of wine. I'm a little bit of a lightweight. I don't drink that much, so I was so tired. And they announced, we're going to have this award-winning opera singer come in the lounge. And I thought, well, opera's not really my thing, but it's my job to tell everyone what this is all about. So I better go. So I topped off my glass of wine and off to the lounge I went. And I tell you this not to tell on myself, but to tell you that you will be tired, especially if you have a drink here and there and after a day of walking, but do not miss the entertainment. It's brought aboard for a reason. This young woman started to sing. And, have you ever heard someone sing where it gives you chill bumps? That was the experience. She blew us all away. It was magical. The moral of this story is I'm so glad that I didn't go to my room and skip it. I'm so glad that I went and listened to this beautiful young woman sing opera. Opera's still not my thing, but it was an amazing experience. And that's what all the entertainment that's brought aboard is. It is handpicked by AmaWaterways. And usually it's in the areas that we sell. It's the local talent that we bring aboard. And usually it's a cultural experience. They're dressed in the garb of, long ago, and it's a wonderful experience, but definitely not to be missed. Something else that's very different with AmaWaterways is our cruise managers. I used to tell my guests when I book travel not to think of them as cruise managers. I used to say, think of them as your personal concierge because that's really what they are. They are highly trained to anticipate the needs of the guest and to help out in any situation. And I got to test this out. Do you remember the Microsoft glitch that just happened? Well, I got caught in it and I had to spend the night in the Paris airport for 2 nights. But at 2 a.m., I'm on the phone, letting everybody know, hey, I'm still in Paris. They lost my luggage. I finally get to the cruise ship and I just mention to the cruise manager, they lost my luggage. That's all I said. And then I went to bed. The very next morning, I get up and she says, oh, Deborah, your luggage is going to be at the next port when we get there. And I was like, really? She took it upon herself to call the airlines to find my luggage, to have it brought to the next port. I was so impressed by that. But that's what they do. They anticipate the needs, they help with anything that arises. So they are truly your personal concierge. But they also stay with you every step of the way. So if you add a pre-land or a post-land to your cruise, that makes it a longer experience. And most people nowadays really love that. If you're flying 8 or 9 hours over to Europe, you don't want it to be for just a week. So this is a way to extend your trip for almost a 2-week experience. So I highly recommend the pre and the post, but it's a little unsettling to some people. Maybe they haven't traveled that much before and they're going into a country where they don't speak the language. This is where our cruise managers come in. And they're at the hotel. So once you come out of baggage claim, you meet our AMA representative and they bring you to the transportation. The transportation brings you to the hotel. The cruise manager is at the hotel to help you get checked in. They have a meet and greet where everybody meets everybody on the pre. They tell you all what to expect. So if you don't speak the language and you've had an issue or you need help checking in, the cruise manager is there with you. And they're with you every step of the way. So that's very comforting to a lot of people to know that an AMA representative is with you the entire time you're on this trip. So definitely our cruise managers stand out among cruise managers for sure. So I mentioned the land program. I like to point out some of the things you get if you do a pre-land or post-land. You get a 4 to 5 star hotel, and that's located in the major sites of the city. So that makes a big difference. If you say outside the city center, you have to commute in to get to anything that you want to see. So our hotel, like for instance in Prague, the itinerary I was just on, the Upper Danube. The pre is in Prague, and our hotel is the Cosmopolitan Hotel. It's in walking distance of the astronomical clock, of all the major markets, the shopping, just about everything you want to see. You can walk right to it. So that makes a huge difference in how much you can see and how close and how far you have to commute to get to it. So that makes a big difference. Also, there's breakfast in that hotel daily. And the first time I was at this hotel, I thought, continental breakfast. I'm thinking U.S. continental breakfast. And I walked through these double doors into the breakfast, and it is the biggest breakfast spread I've ever seen. I could have imagined in a hotel. And they don't have it anymore, but I love to tell the story because it's absolutely true. In the middle of the room, they had a champagne fountain with rows of orange champagne glasses with orange juice around it. And you picked up your orange juice and the fountain put champagne into your mimosa. So I thought I'd died and gone to heaven. I said, this is amazing, but it's over the top. It's opulent. It's a 4 to 5 star restaurant. So it's going to be an amazing breakfast. You also have your city tours that are also included, and these are led by knowledgeable guides. Your transfers and your luggage portage is also included. And that's a little thing, but it's a big thing too, because if you don't have your transfers, you have to arrange for that. And transfers can be anywhere from $25 to $125. So it makes for a nice seamless experience, and it's not something else you have to worry about or tack on to the cost of your cruise. And then, of course, there's the service of our cruise managers. So as I mentioned, when we looked at the map, we are in all of Europe's storied rivers. We're in Africa, we're in Asia on the Mekong, we're in Egypt on the Nile, and then we're soon to be in Colombia. We're going to be sailing from Cartagena all the way down and around up to Barranquilla, where everyone, whether you start or finish in Barranquilla, is going to experience an authentic Carnival experience. So I'm really excited about that. But we also have wine cruises. We have themed cruises, over 70 different itineraries. We also have Christmas markets. You can't go wrong with a good Christmas market cruise. If you love to shop and you love authentic and handmade things, the Christmas markets are absolutely magical. But here today, I wanted to talk about a specific itinerary. Carla asked me to talk about the captivating Rhine, and this is from Amsterdam to Basel, or the reverse, Basel to Amsterdam. And the Rhine River is absolutely beautiful. It's one of my favorites. It's dotted with over 40 castles. So if you love medieval history, you love the romantic side of uh, history and castles, this is definitely the itinerary for you. So the itinerary starts in Amsterdam, and we do have a that's 2 days in Amsterdam that you can add to this trip. But you can see day 1 and 2 is Amsterdam, and then Dusseldorf, the Rhine Gorge, Rudesheim, then down to Strasbourg, Breisach, and Basel. So you can see on the map all of the points of interest, including the Black Forest and Strasbourg, which is excursion points that we go to, as well as Cologne, a wonderful itinerary. And this is a 7-night cruise. This is the cruise that Carla has put together, and I believe it's going in 2026. So if you are interested in doing a group cruise, she has special pricing. So reach out to her. She would love to help you book this. Amsterdam is a magical city. It is one of my favorites, similar to Venice, where it has canals and streets of water, so to speak. There you get to do scenic cruising out of Amsterdam, and it's just beautiful. But you also get to cruise scenically through the canal system on a smaller canal boat, and it's a tour boat. You'll get to go past all of the different architecture, even the Anne Frank house, and see all that Amsterdam has to offer. The riverboats that are homes that are along the canals as well are very, very interesting. There's some beautiful places to shop. Of course, there's the cheese and there's the tulips that Amsterdam is known for. And of course, there's some things that we probably shouldn't talk about, like the red light district, but it's one of those hot spots that everyone knows about. Um, but it's a beautiful city, and I've been there many times, and it's definitely should be on your bucket list if you haven't been there. In Dusseldorf, Germany, I listed on these slides some of my favorite tours. There are more that's offered than this, but I absolutely love Cologne. That there's a Cologne walking tour, and Cologne is known for their crystal. So if you love lead crystal, it's a great place to buy lead crystal. And then there's a beautiful walking tour with a tasting as well, and then a wonderful biking tour. So if you like to stay active, the biking tours are more than just a bike ride. And there's 5-mile bike rides and there's 15-mile bike rides. So you always want to read the small print and see which one you've signed up for. But it's not just a bike ride. It's led by a tour guide on a bike. So you're stopping every 15 or 20 minutes and you're hearing about what you're seeing or where you are in the city. So it's a really interesting way to have a tour and to get some great exercise at the same time. The Rhine Gorge is absolutely a beautiful spot and point on the river. It's a UNESCO World Heritage Site. And on this day and in this area, you have a choice of a gondola ride. There is a Ringgau bike tour. And then, of course, there's scenic cruising where you'll see many, many castles along the way. In Rudesheim, there's beautiful vineyards. There's a wine tasting excursion that's my absolute favorite. You go down in this cellar, and it's just magical. It's been there for hundreds and hundreds of years. And then there's also the Siegfried Mechanical Instrument Museum. Yeah, it's interesting. I won't even tell you what that's like because you have to experience it. I didn't know these things existed. But if you love music, there is machines that have a full band inside of them or orchestra inside of them. And they're ancient. They've been around forever, but they still work. And it's a really quirky but fun place to go, especially if you love music. In Speyer, Germany, there is the Secrets of the Speyer tour. That's a really popular one, as well as the Heidelberg Philosopher's Hike. And then the Ladenburg Bike Tour is one of my favorites as well. The Heidelberg Castle is definitely the pinnacle. It is one of the most beautiful and large castles. It's definitely one you do not want to miss. As you can see in this photo, it's expansive and so much fun to visit. In Stroudsburg, I mean, this looks just like you're stepping into a Disney movie almost of Beauty and the Beast. It's just fairy tale. The Stroudsburg bike tour is really, really fun. And then, of course, there's the Gems of Alsace tour, which is probably the most popular one. Beautiful scenery, beautiful architecture, amazing food. This is a very walkable city, lots to explore. A lot of people will go back to the ship and, do a morning tour, do lunch, and then go back to and do another tour in the afternoon. And then sometimes they'll even go back into town for dinner on their own because there's a lot of places to really explore and enjoy. Also in Germany, you have the option to do the Black Forest hike, which is one of my favorites, or the Kammer walking tour, as well as the wine country bike tour, where you're biking through vineyards. Absolutely beautiful. And then it ends up in Basel, Switzerland, which is a beautiful city right on the river. The last time I was in Basel, I did not do the post. I took think I took an Uber literally around the corner. If I had known how close my hotel was, I would have just walked. But it was literally around the corner, checked in my hotel, and I stayed 2 days afterwards. And I took the train when the train station was right next door. And I took the train up into Switzerland and went to Mount Titlis. And it was up to 10,000 feet and went into the Swiss Alps. It was absolutely so much fun. I loved that I was able to just do that on my own very, very easily. But there's also a 4-night post you can add to this trip, which is Lucerne and Zurich, Switzerland. So this is through AmaWaterways, and so it has planned excursions if that's something that interests you as well. Absolutely beautiful itinerary. I can't say enough good things about the Rhine or this particular sailing. It's definitely one to experience. There are several ships that go on this itinerary, but I picked the one that stays in Basel and that's most often is the AmaCerto. And the AmaCerto, you can see she has beautiful dining. She has twin balcony rooms. She also has a pool up on top. And if you're traveling in the fall or the winter, you can absolutely use the pool. It's heated. So that's a nice feature. That's also something that's very different from other river cruise lines. Very few have any type of water feature. So the fact that we have pools and hot tubs and that they're heated is a nice feature for you to enjoy. This ship has 162 passengers or 81 staterooms. It has 51 crew members, and she stays in Basel. Here's a look at the deck plan, and you can see there's every category room from the E and D fixed windows, the C and BB French windows or French balcony, and then the twin balconies BA through AA, and then of course the A plus and the suites on all the different levels. You can see they're color coded as to what room level they are. But on this ship, and all of our ships in Europe, we have a massage and hair salon. We have the chef's table that I mentioned. We have the main restaurant. There's an elevator that goes between the room floors. There is a gift shop where we have, all sorts of beautiful jewelry and mementos you can take back home, as well as the heated pool, as well as bicycles on board, and of course, a walking track up on the top deck when you need to walk off all that amazing food. And this slide may not look quite as professional. I put this together just so I could show you some of the actual rooms aboard the ship. The top room is the category AA. So this is a twin balcony room. It gives you an idea of the space. And then the room down below, the suite on the violin deck, this was a little harder to show because it's actually two separate rooms. So that front space there with the two chairs, that's one sitting area, one room. And then the bed is in a completely separate area. So it's actually two rooms together, and the square footage is 300 square foot, whereas the AA category is 235. And the bathroom that you see there is the suite bathroom with its large tub and its standalone shower, and it has dual vanity with marble finishes. Very, very nice bathroom for sure. But here's a look at just a French balcony, which is still a very nice room. You can see the balcony behind the two chairs. That room that would open, but you couldn't actually step out. So it's still nice to be able to open it up and get the fresh air. And then the photo to the right is the room in the opposite direction. So you can see as you were to come in the door, that's what you would see. And then down below is our fixed window cabin. So the very bottom level of the ship. It's our entry level cabin, but they're wonderful rooms. I'm only 5'2", and those fixed window rooms, they're about 2 feet wide. You can see they're as wide as the bottom of the chair, or wider actually, and that's about 2 feet. But I can stand there and look out over the water. So you're not under the water. You don't feel claustrophobic. And it's got a lot of daylight. So it's a really nice room. That's usually where I stay when I'm on board the ship. So if your objective is just to get on the cruise and maybe you want to save a little bit of money, I would absolutely stay in an E or a D category room. But I've never heard anyone say they didn't like their balcony. So balconies are amazing, whether it's a French balcony or whether it's a full balcony or both. You can't go wrong with either one. I did want to mention some of our promotions. Right now, I don't have a slide on it, but right now we have our Europe and Mekong cruises at 20% off, and this is through December the 31st. So if that's something that interests you, maybe the group is not something, an itinerary that you're interested in, but if you're interested in Africa or the Mekong or any other Europe itinerary, you can reach out to Carla and she'd be happy to quote a price for you. And we have select sailings that are 20% off. And on those sailings, we have an Air Plus special. So the economy air is starting at $8.99, and that's a really great price. Economy air in 2026 is going to go up just a little bit to $9.99. But in 2025, the premium economy will be $22.99 and business class will be $42.99. So those are really great prices. But say you pick a sailing and it's not the 20% off and it doesn't fall under this category. We also have contracted air. So the contracted air is a little bit more flexible. So you can even say, I only want to travel on Delta. I want to come in 2 days early to Amsterdam. You can do many different things at a discounted rate. So that's something to remember. And if you book your air through AMA, then all of your transfers are included. So that's a really nice perk, and it makes for that seamless experience. So definitely keep that in mind. I mentioned that we have an app. So when you've booked your cruise, our final payment is not due until 90 days before you sail, unlike our competitors, where you have to pay a year in advance. I think if the pandemic taught us anything, it's that you just don't know what tomorrow is going to bring. And the idea of giving someone $10,000 of my money a year in advance would be hard for me to handle. I don't think I would want to do that. So AMA does not do that. Our final payment date is 90 days prior your sail date. So that's really important. And our deposits are $400 per person. But I mentioned that we have the AMA Cruise app. And I remember the days when we actually got documents. You know, we had our little wallets and we had the luggage tags, and I miss those days. But everybody's gone to an app, and so have we. So your electronic travel documents are there on this app. So that's why it's important to download the app. So while you're traveling, if you're traveling on AMA Air and you get to your connection flight and now your next flight's been canceled, you can easily access those emergency numbers. Our air department is open 24/7 in case you need help along the way. So that's really important to know. And you can find that information in your electronic travel documents. And then, of course, there's a fun photo album where you can send postcards back home. That's really fun. And then there's our daily cruiser. So everything that's going on during the day is also on that app. And I will say I'm very proud that they listened to the BDMs. We all said, make this app as simple as you can make it. You know, I joke and say, I love Princess. I'm on Princess every year on Somewhere Ocean, but I hate their app. It's so hard to negotiate and it never works right. Our app is not like that. It literally only has 4 or 5 tabs and it's very, very easy to use. It does what it says. So if you push My Cruise Itinerary, you're going to get the itinerary. And if you push, the album, you'll get that. So it's very user friendly. You can also access your excursions inside of 20 days to your departure. And you can look at pictures and read about the excursions. You can even choose your excursions before you get on the ship if you want to. But again, you don't have to. It's totally up to you. So that concludes my presentation. I have Carla's information for Discover Wanderlust Travel on the screen. So if you don't have her telephone number and you would like to book something, or you need more information on a specific sailing to the Mekong or Africa or the Upper Danube, just give her a call. She'd be happy to get a quote for you for any of our promotions that are running right now. So now I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing and I'll open it up to questions. If any of you have questions, I'm more than happy to answer them. Anybody have questions? No?
You need to unmute yourself if you have a question, or if you want to drop it in the chat, I can assist that way.
No? Okay.
No
Well,
questions?
no questions. That's okay. If you do have questions later on, after you look through some itineraries, just give Carla a call and I'm more than happy to answer them after the fact. We do have other discounts out there. There's past traveler discounts. There is military discounts of $250 off for active and retired military. We have other holiday and even summer specials. So do take a look at the website. Do reach out to Carla. She'd be happy to help you book anything that you're interested in.
Thanks everybody for attending. Have a great evening.
Thank you, Carla.
Thanks, Deborah.
Bye-bye.